$114 million. How does that sound?
What if I told you the US lottery isn't just about luck? What if behind those glowing jackpot numbers and smiling winners on TV lies a game built on secrets, manipulation, and an endless cycle of hope that rarely pays off? Stay with me, because the deeper you look, the more you realize the lottery might just be the biggest hustle of them all. The man who rigged the system.
It's difficult even saying that with all the people that I know behind me that I hurt, and I regret it, and I'm sorry.
It begins with one man who proved the lottery could be beaten, not by luck, but by code. Eddie Tipton wasn't just any player. He worked inside the Multi-State Lottery Association, the group that runs games across dozens of states. He had access to the random number generator itself, the machine everyone trusted to keep the system fair. But Tipton planted malicious code, a tiny digital ghost that changed the results on certain days. He and his circle of insiders scooped up millions before anyone noticed. Imagine that, a system sold as airtight, unbreakable, untouchable, undone by its own security chief. When the scandal finally surfaced, it shook public trust to its core. If one man could quietly manipulate a billion-dollar industry, how safe was anyone's chance at winning? And yet, this was only the beginning. Because even when insiders weren't rigging the numbers, the system itself had loopholes hiding in plain sight.
Mr. Tipton, you chose an illegal path. Director of the Iowa Department of Corrections for an indeterminate term not to exceed 25 years.
The judge asked Eddie Tipton if he has anything to say.
I certainly regret my action.
People often talk about a violent crime that's physical and how that weighs on you. This is an emotional feeling because it was a violation of trust.
The Courier controversy in Texas. Fast forward to Texas. Here, a new kind of lottery craze emerged. Not people lining up at gas stations, but courier apps like Jackpot buying tickets on behalf of players. On paper, it sounded futuristic. Order your lottery ticket like you order food delivery. But behind the convenience lurked massive controversy. In 2023, tickets purchased through these services hit jackpots worth tens of millions, $83.5 million in one case, $95 million in another. The wins sparked investigations by the Attorney General and even the governor. Were these apps skirting rules meant to keep the game local? Was this still fair competition or a high-tech loophole in plain sight? And if courier services could bend the game, what about people who found ways to outright overwhelm it? On September 10th, 2024, Texas cracked down hard on digital lottery sales, citing security concerns, high-profile scandals, and political pressure, even as couriers expand their reach through online convenience. The Texas Lottery Commission unanimously voted on Tuesday, September 10th, 2024, to ban online lottery courier companies from selling tickets, reversing its earlier stance that it lacked authority to regulate them. Couriers like Jackpot and Lotto.com run apps that sell tickets digitally, then print them at licensed retailers. Lawmakers worry this allows illegal sales to out-of-state or underage players, and investigations are underway by both the Attorney General's office and the Texas Rangers. The new ban gives the commission power to revoke licenses from retailers working with couriers, while lawmakers consider legislation for stricter restrictions. The move comes after controversies, including a $95 million jackpot in 2023, when an overseas group used bulk purchasing to buy nearly every ticket combination with the help of a courier and retailers. Courier sales make up less than 10% of Texas lottery revenue, but have grown rapidly, outselling many traditional retailers. In 2024, Jackpot and Lotto.com stores sold over $226 million in tickets, compared to $34 million sold by the top 5 traditional retailers combined. Despite couriers' claims that they use verification tools to prevent bulk buying and underage sales, state law does not mandate such measures. Meanwhile, the Texas Senate unanimously passed a bill in February 2024 to criminalize online ticket sales altogether, with some lawmakers even suggesting the entire lottery system should be abolished. Bulk buying by syndicates. That's exactly what happened. In another Texas case, a foreign syndicate reportedly bought nearly every possible number combination in a drawing. That's not strategy, that's brute force, and it worked. The group walked away with $95 million, legally. The public reaction? Outrage. Everyday players scraping by on a few dollars felt cheated. After all, how can someone with near unlimited resources be allowed to corner an entire game? But here's the twist. It wasn't against the rules. The system was designed in a way that let it happen. And this wasn't some shadowy loophole. This was legal. The outrage only raised a darker question. If syndicates can game the system legally, how many other fair games aren't really fair at all? And yet, the biggest scams didn't always happen at the ticket counter. Sometimes they happened at the very top. Inside fraud in Washington, D.C. take Washington, D.C. The city's lottery operator, Intralot, and a subcontractor named VSC were caught in a scheme worth millions. The companies manipulated local contracting rules to appear compliant, essentially gaming the system so they could secure the lucrative deal. It wasn't players cheating the system this time, it was the companies running it. Eventually, they paid $6.5 million in restitution. But by then, the damage was clear. If the operators themselves were cutting corners, what did that say about the integrity of the game? And if the people at the top were playing dirty, what chance did ordinary players ever really have? The fake prize scams that rob before you even play, the hidden tax on hope who's really winning. But maybe the most heartbreaking scams aren't inside jobs or billion-dollar frauds. They're the ones that target everyday people before they even buy a ticket. You've probably seen them. Emails, letters, or phone calls claiming you've won a jackpot. All you need to do is pay a small fee or share some personal information to claim your prize. Of course, the winnings never arrive. The scammers vanish with your money, or worse, your identity. The Federal Trade Commission has issued repeated warnings, but the scams keep multiplying. Why? Because they prey on the same thing that drives people to real lottery counters: hope. The belief that maybe, just maybe, life could change overnight. And this is where the biggest truth about the lottery begins to reveal itself. Across the US, lotteries rake in billions each year. But here's the dark side. The players fueling those billions aren't mostly middle-class families buying a ticket for fun. Studies show the money comes disproportionately from low-income communities.
It found that people who make less than $35,000 a year spent more than double on lottery tickets than people who make over $100,000 a year.
The very people least able to afford losses spend the most on lottery tickets. It's why critics call it a hidden tax on the poor, a regressive system disguised as entertainment. State governments defend lotteries as funding for schools, parks, and infrastructure. But ask yourself, is it fair that the burden falls on those chasing the faintest chance at escape from poverty?
They reduce the existing budget so that it ends up basically being the same number, which means the lottery doesn't actually give any extra money to the education system.
Andrew Jack Whitaker. He won the largest jackpot ever awarded to a single Powerball ticket, $319.9 million. He chose the lump sum, which left him $113 million after taxes.
By lowering everyone's tax rates all the way up the income scale, each of us will have a greater incentive to climb higher, to excel, to help America grow.
Oh, and the money isn't even distributed in an equitable way. The funding a lot of time goes towards scholarships, colleges, and ends up benefiting wealthier schools.
When the odds are 1 in hundreds of millions, who's really benefiting here? The player or the system built to take their dollar again and again? So, let's recap. An insider rigged the software and walked away with millions. Courier apps raised questions about fairness and legality. A syndicate legally bought nearly every ticket combination and claimed a fortune. Lottery operators themselves bent rules for contracts. Fake prize scams tricked people before they ever played. And through it all, the poor carried the heaviest burden, buying into a dream that rarely, if ever, comes true. The US lottery isn't just a game of chance. It's a system of loopholes, manipulation, and exploitation. For a lucky few, it's a jackpot. For most, it's just another way to lose. So the next time you see that glowing billboard flashing hundreds of millions, ask yourself, is this really hope? Or is it the greatest scam dressed up as a game?